Hello and welcome. And in this video, I'm talking about how to create more clarity to grow your business now and in 2024. Now, I was having a couple of conversations actually, in my group coaching session today with clients. And it got me thinking, and mainly because I've got a workshop coming up very soon, which is my strategy and planning annual workshop. So it's the yearly planning workshop that I run for clients and new people who want to get access to that in order to plan their year ahead. But one of the big things that kind of came up is, what if you have an idea? What if you have a goal? What if you can kind of see where you want to be, but in terms of getting there, you're not clear? And then what happens is, with the picture not so clear on how you're going to get there, i.e. the journey, sometimes what that can do is then have an impact on the clarity that you have as to whether or not the goal or the visions that you're pursuing are actually the right things, right? Because when there's uncertainty, it can knock us into, feeling not as confident or as secure, as certain in different areas of our life. And it got me thinking. And then the thought that I had was, well, how do you gain clarity? Like, how do you maintain clarity? And for me, a lot of it in business, you could argue is to do with strategy. And to some degree, there is that. But I think the level above strategy is all around you as the business owner, and especially you as the business leader if you have team as well, because what I'm about to share with you also has a knock-on effect and something that should actually filter down into your team members as well, as part of your company culture, in order to create the clarity that I'm talking about. Now, back in 2018, I published this book, which is still relevant today. It's all about principles of marketing and strategy. But I want to draw your attention to page 162. The book is called More Leads, More Clients, the 10-Step Marketing Manifesto to becoming one of the most valued and highly paid coaches in your industry. It works for consultants as well. But let me just draw your attention to page 62. And in page 62, I talk about the breakthrough to success, right? And the key thing I want to share with you here, which is going to kick off the conversation of where I want to head next, is there are two key components to belief that coaches must face to break through to success. Number one, you don't think you deserve it. And number two, you don't think you can pull it off, right? And as I was reflecting, since this book is approximately 5 years old, since I published it back in 2018, which was, I believe, on the 31st of October, somewhere around then. So it literally is 5 years. To make anything happen, you must believe. With belief, you can fortify the way forward with your mindset. It may not always be the case, and your belief and motivation may need topping up. That's okay, you're human. As you're committed, that's what counts. Right. Now, taking us back to mindset and belief. And I thought, in terms of clarity, when we're in business, a lot of the times, even when we've got like the strategy laid out, I think if you don't have your mindset in the right place, and look, it doesn't matter how amazing you are. I mean, I've interviewed countless successful people, like on past podcast interviews that I've held, and also all of the content that you see in this day and age. There's some really great podcasts out there. And when you see somebody who's sincere and vulnerable and talking about their success, even when they're like a 7, 8, 9, 10 figure successful, entrepreneur, even people like Elon Musk, one of the key things that you'll find is that there's always this vulnerability to them. There's always this, and usually it's because they've been through enough of the challenges to, be okay with saying, you know what, not everything about me and who I am is perfect. And, the cool thing about that is we are all human. And so what I want to share, first of all, is that it's okay to have, kind of weaker areas as to who we are, because the great things about us are actually even more exponential compared to the weaknesses, right? But in order to create the clarity that you need going into your business right now and into 2024, for me, it starts with mindset, and it starts with the things that you believe. But what happens when you get to this place where can you trust yourself? And what I want to kick off with is a couple of things that I use, and I want to share this because I think it's important, no matter what level you are in your business right now. I deal with people who are established coaches, consultants, who are doing 6 figures right the way to doing 7 figures. But here's the thing that I want to share most of all. You've got to find a way where you're able to get clarity on you, right? You're able to get clarity on your vision. You're able to get clarity on where you are headed. And there's a great lesson that I picked up from a good friend of mine called Derek Mills, and he published this book, and it was called the 10-second philosophy, and really great book. And I can dive into that a bit more, but the key thing that Derek picks up on is this acronym, and it's these 7 areas, and this is what I want you to look at. He uses the PERFECT acronym, literally PERFECT, and it stands for the 7 areas that you can look at in your life. You may have something similar, but for me, this works really well just to understand the principle. So the principle of what I want to communicate with you is P stands for personal health and fitness, right? E stands for environment. R stands for relationships. F stands for family. E stands for emotions. C stands for career, job, aka business, if you're a business owner. And T stands for time and money. Now, when we look at these different areas and we want to gain clarity, one of the things that we have to establish is, where are we unclear, right? Maybe it is to do with ourselves, or maybe it is to do with environment, internally, externally. Maybe it's relationships that are currently challenging us and we're not clear, whether it's intimate relationships, husband, wife, partner, relationships with your team or other people that are influential or important in your life, children, for example, family, right? Emotions, career, business, time and money. And so when you think about this, there's so many kind of like strings to the bow of who we are. In terms of getting clarity, what we need to do is make sure that we create this space to become clear. And what I've found myself in terms of business is, let's say you want to grow your business, but like you're super focused on where you're going. But here's the other thing that I want you to look at, and why it's important to consider these 7 areas that I've just mentioned. Like, is it creating fulfillment for you? Is there joy? Is there fun? Does it align with your values in terms of what you're doing, right? So if you're unsure about that and you don't have the clarity either on the strategy, how you're feeling, where you're going, how you show up, and all the other things that go into you just being a human being, right? Well, we have to find this place where we can get to this point of clarity. And one of the things that I use is meditation, right? And the reason I believe we need something like either meditation, prayer, going for a walk in nature, being alone, or listening to like whatever music, some of your favorite tracks that kind of change your vibration, change your energy, is that it allows the noise of our mind to be drowned out, right? Which is usually the ego and the constant kind of like this, that, I've got these different things coming up and so on and so forth. So I just want to give you a couple of steps, and then I'm going to move into more about how you can use that going into your business right now in terms of clarity and into 2024. So I've got these 5 steps and I've got them on my phone. That's why I'm looking down, and just to remind myself. So the first thing is, what will really help, if you're either familiar or not familiar with meditation, or just kind of like being with yourself, if you want to focus your mind into now, focus on your breathing, right? And you'll see this if you've ever done like a guided meditation. The initial part of the meditation is always relax yourself, make sure you're in a seated or standing position or somewhere comfortable, even lying down. And then they tell you to focus on your breath. And the reason for that is to get your mind away from the other things that are going on from the past or what's coming in the future, to be in the now, right? And being in the now is important, especially when you're going for goals, you're growing your business, or you've got, whether it's a positive pressure or even a negative pressure, right? Those things exist in business. But focusing on your breath and focusing on now is what can help you to, get into this state of meditation where you become mindful. Number 2, pay attention to your intuition, right? And your intuition it can be used. Look, if you're not into kind of like woo-woo stuff, this is really cool. Intuition is just your gut feeling, right? When you have a feeling about something, and everybody's experienced that, right? Whether they feel that's a good opportunity, not a good opportunity, a bad relationship, or somebody who could be, really good to accelerate relationships and what it is that you do and all the things you're involved with. And I think the more you start to understand that there's more just there's more to you than just your logical mind, and actually there's a lot to do with the energy and how you read people and how you read energy. Ultimately, how you see things. If you just want to call it your gut feeling, well, that's totally up to you. I don't mind what you call it, as long as you recognize that the key is to follow your heart, follow your passions, and take action. Number three, right, you have to realize that your truth and your dreams, your goals, that you are supported, right? Might not seem like it with some of the people that are around you, or perhaps you've got relationships with right now. But the more that you focus on being positive, that the things that you want to do, you're supported. It just might be that you have to create some new relationships, put yourself in a different environment, so that it also has that feeling around you, rather than you just focusing on what it is internally, which I think is actually the most important thing for you to get clarity on where you're going, which is to realize that you are supported. Number four, it's alignment. And the way that you can get more into alignment is through focus. And it's usually when we come out of focus that we're not in alignment, which kind of makes sense, right? Because focus means that things are aligned. And so the more that you focus and the more you do deep work and the less distracted you are and the more focused you are, the more into alignment you become, the more your energy is aligned, the more the people you attract around you, relationships, clients, customers, and so on, also becomes aligned, even your message. And then number five, these are the five things I wanted to share, which is protection. What you have to also do in order to make sure there's clarity around who you are, how you show up, and being focused on the things that you really want to invest your time into and what you want to create going into 2024 is about protection, meaning watch the subconscious thoughts that you have and move away from negativity. So those are the five things I wanted to share with you. And I just want to expand on that fifth one. You see, your subconscious mind, like from a biological point of view, is driven based on the experiences that you've had from like naught right the way through to 7 to 16, right? And a lot of the patterns and programs that we have start to be compounded in life as we grow older, right? And it's important that we recognize when we have these negative thoughts. And the whole point is to start to shift ourselves away from them, because if we have this on top of where we're going with our business and strategy, it compounds the negativity, it compounds the uncertainty. And so the reason why I wanted to start there is because if you're clear, it allows you to have clarity on your with yourself, which then allows you to create more space to be creative in the direction of where you want to go with your business. So now that we understand a little bit about how we can gain clarity within ourselves and the things that we're doing day to day, now we can move forward. What is it we need to do in terms of gaining clarity around our business? See, now that we've got that, now we need to focus on strategy. And one of the things with strategy that I think a lot of people don't pay attention to is, what have you done up until now? Meaning, have you reviewed your performance from last week, last month, or the year before, right? And the reason why I say that is both being strategic and looking what is yet to come, or the direction you're just going to take things because you see that there is an opportunity there, is also to understand who you are and who your business is, meaning you and your team and what it is that you bring. And I think a lot of times you gain more uncertainty when you haven't taken the time to review and analyze, take stock of what it is that you are capable of and what you have done up until now in terms of the actions. And I think this is important. It's super important because depending on how far you've got, whether you're doing like 10K a month, 20, 50, 100K a month, the importance of this is where your attention goes, energy flows. So if you're paying attention to what you've done up until now and how it, how you've been able to achieve what it is that you've been able to achieve, the results, the actions, the growth, the offers, the clients that you've brought in, all of these amazing things, the people that you've hired, what you need to do is pay attention to what has worked and what hasn't worked. And out of this, both you'll pick up on things personally to you, your team will be able to pick up on those things, as well as the business strategy and the marketing strategy, marketing and sales. Because usually, obviously, one of the things that you're looking at, which are the most prolific things in business for growth, really, as well as hiring team, is marketing and sales, right? So if you're taking stock of where you've been, that will allow you to look at, well, where are the opportunities that lie ahead for us in the blue ocean, in the niche that you're targeting, with the knowledge of the resources and capabilities that you bring within your business, i.e. you, your team, and the assets that you've developed. Now, the next step is then obviously clarity moving forward. So in terms of clarity, what I would say to you is, other than reviewing performance and looking at who's in your team, what you also want to look at is, what kind of life do you want to create, both for you to live and also for the type of business that you want to build. And the importance of this is to consider, what type of business model do you want to have? And I've been guilty of this in the past, where I got stuck into the business model at the time because that was the only way that I knew. And I didn't realize that you could actually do things in a different way. I didn't realize that actually, if I wanted to take sales calls or not take sales calls, that was an option for me, and that was a possibility. If I wanted to serve clients one-on-one, or if I wanted to serve clients one-to-many, I didn't realize in the past that was an option to me, right? And so in the past, what I found is I got stuck because I was living in the past, and I was living to my known, identity and knowledge. So here's the thing that I want you to think about in terms of clarity and going forward with your business from this point forward and into 2024. If you had everything available to you, where you could choose to show up in the way that you need to show up and attract in the right types of clients and deliver the services that you have, whether it's coaching, mentoring, training, consulting, whatever it is that you're going to provide, how would you choose to show up whereby you were able to get fulfillment, joy, passion, enough time back to be compensated and paid like handsomely, to the point where you're earning more money than you even need to even think or worry about, right? It gets to the point where you don't even consider money anymore. Like, how would your business look? How would you protect your time? Which people on your team would you hire in order to buy back your time, right? And this is what I'm talking about in terms of clarity, because sometimes when we're uncertain about where we are, it's because we haven't decided to change anything about our business, and we go from year to year, like 2023 into 2024, and we haven't adjusted anything. We haven't reviewed what we already have, and we haven't reviewed where we want to go into the new year, or from this point going forward. And I think if you take stock by either looking at perhaps what other successful entrepreneurs have done to build their businesses, looking into them, not necessarily looking up at them, but looking into them, and really getting to grips with understanding, what business model could you adopt? What way could you work in order to get the things out of your life that you want, so that your business becomes the vehicle to the goals and the visions that you have? And I think, if you take that on board, and I'll carry on in a moment, you start to open up the possibilities and the opportunities that are there for you. Now, here's the other thing I want you to think about, because I've given you some practical steps around, how you can become more mindful, more clear within yourself, and then what you can do in terms of reviewing past performance and looking forward, and looking at where the opportunities are in the blue oceans out there. And when I say blue ocean, guys, this comes from the book, The Blue Ocean Strategy. If you've never come across it, it's about how to carve out your own unique niche, where it's a blue ocean where you can go hunting, and people see you as the main solution provider for them. But the thing that I wanted to share with you is that going forward into your business and gaining this kind of clarity, it opens up the doors of creativity. And I'll tell you why. As you step forward with whatever goal you've got now, whatever visions you have for where you want to take your business, what you've also got to understand is that trying to achieve something new that you never achieved before, if you set yourself a new goal, or you just have a vision and you just know there are certain goals or milestones that you want to achieve on the way there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be unknown, right? And when I say that, it means that, yes, you may have a strategy, you may have an understanding of what you've got to do to market your business, the relationships that you've got to build, the types of clients that you need to attract in. But there is going to be elements around how you execute in your business that are going to be unknown to you. So long as you keep taking action, the answers and the results will continue to happen. And the reason why I share this is, sometimes we're trying to connect the dots of, like, let's say 100-point drawing, right? And we're trying to connect all of the dots of this 100-point drawing, right? And we're trying to understand that we can see clearly from point 1 to 100. But the reality in business is that you probably see 1 to 20, 30 to 45, maybe 65 to 75, but there are going to be gaps. But what I would say to you is, that's okay. The clarity that you need is the belief and you taking action. Like that's what will overcome and trump, not seeing the whole way forward, not seeing the whole staircase right in the middle of the night, but you're willing to take that step and using either your team, the strategy that you're laying out. All of this will help to continue to drive you forward and provide you with more of the certainty, even when it feels uncertain, right? And I say this because there are a lot of things in business, even when you have everything stacked up, that you can't predict market forces, changes in dynamics. We've seen, in 2020 right through to 2023, where we are now, the after effects of COVID, lockdowns, wars, and these play a big factor into different environments, different countries, no matter where you are in the world right now. And trying to gain 100% certainty should always be about your belief and your actions, because you can't control everything around what goes on external to you. And so if you can take on board some of the things that I've shared with you today, you're going to put yourself in a stronger position for you to win, for you to be certain. And you can probably see just on the screen right now, I've just got a simple diagram, and I've put this diagram on purpose on here just so that you get an idea of what it is that you can do, right? And I guess more than anything, how you should think about, I say should, how you might think about your own life. See, the way that I look at things, and I'll just color it in here. Maybe I need to go across so we can get a deeper color. There we are. Is running your business. That is a piece of your life. And for some people, it might feel like it's their whole life. It's their identity. But what I'll say to you is that the more that you have clarity on where you're going in life and all these different areas that I mentioned at the top of this video, personal health and fitness, environment, relationships, family, emotions, your business or career, time and money, they're all different parts of your life. And the more that you focus on where you're going will have such a big influential perspective to add to where you achieve, I guess, the goals and results that you want in your business. But I find, and you can probably just see on the bottom left under my picture if you're watching right now, let me see if I can switch it up a little bit. There we are. On the bottom left, you can see business, right? But the more that you start to take on board that your life is filled with all these different things, whether it's business, whether it's relationships, you as in your hobbies, alone time with yourself, and actually just doing things outside of your business. Like, don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of things that I really enjoy about my business, and I think about it like loads. I'd probably say like 95% of my days, right? But there's a point where you also have to think about what are the other things that energize you, that give you energy, that allow you creative freedom, listening to music, going out, enjoying time out with, family, friends, your own. Like all of these are a piece of that jigsaw puzzle, which is you. And so my final piece of advice in terms of how to create more clarity to grow your business now is it's getting clarity within yourself on where you're going. It's getting clarity to know that actually you're not going to know every step of the way with where you're going right now. And that's the fun part. That's the part of the unknown. That's the unpredictability piece. But here's what I would say. And it, again, coming back to what I mentioned from page 162 of my book, More Leads, More Clients. If you question yourself and you find yourself in unfamiliar territory where it doesn't seem clear, remember, it's just you thinking that either you don't deserve it or that you can't pull it off. But what I'd say to you is that focus more on your belief, focus more on your actions. And if you want to create the results that will take you towards your goals, change your habits to meet the actions that you need to take in order to make those goals a reality. And that's it, guys. So I hope this has been useful to you. For those of you watching on YouTube, remember, click on the subscribe button to subscribe to the channel for more videos. And for the rest of you, please make sure that we connect. And I look forward to catching you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.